Hi everyone, welcome to my brand overview of Terra Moons. I'm gonna be kind of going through everything I can possibly think about Terra Moons. On the first part, I'm gonna be talking about the price, the pen size, sales, and resources. And then on the second part, I'm gonna be going over the website and navigating them with you and kind of like walking you through the formulas and my thoughts on each of the shades. I will on that part include some images of my swatches, which I will also link down below. My Terra Moons guide, where I have swatches of all the shades I have and videos, so you can really see how sparkly or how shiny the shadows are. In terms of price, Terra Moons is a little bit all over the place, and this also happens with their formulas. The formulas themselves are all over the place and the prices are all over the place. The shadows range from $6 to $18. I would say the ones that they are considered the normal shimmers are between $6 and $7 and $8. Then the duochromes are, I think, around $8.50, and then the Chameleons are between $13, $14, $15, and the extreme multichromes are $15, $16, $17, $18. So there's a lot of variation in price within the formulas, and also a variation of formula within the formulas. So just because you get one duochrome doesn't mean that the other duochrome you get will be the exact same formula. So I'm gonna go through that once I go through all the shades individually. Now, in terms of the pen size, it's pretty straightforward on Terra Moon's website. I think the standard you're gonna get is a 26mm, but then you can also choose to get the 36mm, which is the bigger, like the Give Me Glow kind of size. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. They don't have square pans or nothing like that. In terms of sales, I would say Terra Moons used to be much better than it has been over the years. Their usual Black Friday sale used to be buy one, get one of the cheaper, the $6 to $7, $8 shadows, and everything else was 25% off. However, this last Black Friday was not like that. They did 25% off side-wide with a lot of exclusions of, the more expensive shades. They kind of like marked them down a little bit, maybe like $1. So it was a really disappointing sale. But I feel like a lot of brands didn't do a great Black Friday sale last year, so I'm hopeful that this year they're going to be back, because a lot of these shadows are quite expensive for you to be getting at full price. They do have right now, I believe they changed a little bit of their creators codes, because before they didn't apply to the majority of shadows. They only applied to like the $8 and below, but now they do apply to some of the more expensive shadows, and I believe you can get 15% off if you use the creators code. Now, in terms of resources, as I said, I'm going to be linking down below my Terra Moons guide with all my shadows swatched, and there's photos and videos, as I said. But I don't get PR from Terra Moons, so whenever they launch a new collection, it's, I think, incredibly helpful for you to find someone whose photograph style you like and you find helpful. There are lots of creators out there as they receive Terra Moon's PR, and if you want to discover a little bit more, I would say just go to the Terra Moon's Instagram and see the people that they they repost and they like, because I feel like a lot of them do paid swatches for Terra Moons, so you can see the styles there and see which ones are easier for you to understand, because I feel like there's lots of ways of photographing shadows. And I feel like for certain people, a specific way might be easier. The two creators that I often go back to, like when I'm like building a wish list, I'm like, oh, wait a second, do I like this shade or do I not like this shade? And I go to their accounts to see like their swatches. Are of course Seeking Shifts Riley. She usually has photos of the new collections, and she also does a YouTube video. Her last YouTube video of this Boogie, don't mess up my video. What I was saying is that Riley usually has a YouTube video where she will swatch everything, both on her hands and on her eyes, and then she does comparisons, which for me are very helpful because I feel like we have a lot of the same eyeshadows, so a lot of the shadows she compared them to are the same ones that I have. So I feel like you just have to find someone who has a similar taste to you or similar collection to you, so that you can really find the person who's going to give you the most helpful content. But as I said, the two creators that I refer to the most is Riley from Seeking Shifts, and No Poor. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I will put their Instagrams links down below, and I will also link Riley's YouTube. Those are the ones that, as I said, I'm always referring back to, but of course I would suggest that you take a look at other creators on the Terra Moons page to see the style that you find the most helpful. I think that's it. I think we can go into the website now and do a deep dive into all the shades. Okay, so we're gonna pretty much navigate through this shop tab here, and I have to say I really don't like the way Terra Moons organize their menu, because I feel like it's very chaotic. For example, there's some tabs here that I feel like you can completely disregard, like the pressed neon pigments and the pressed pigments. It's just a mix of their duochromes and other shadows. I wish they had regular shimmers, duochromes, chameleons, pressed extreme multichromes, and mattes. And flakies, I guess. I feel like that would be much more helpful and much more organized, but it is what it is. So I will not be talking the tabs that we're going to be going through today is the shimmers tab, the duochromes, chameleons, and pressed extreme multichromes. I won't be talking about the mattes because I don't think I have any of their mattes. I guess they changed the formula. I don't know. I think they discontinued everything they had and then they released new mattes. So I have some mattes, but I believe that it's an older formula. So I don't feel like I can review them for you. I also don't have any flakies. So I won't be talking about these. So then let's start with the shimmers. This tab is a little bit of a mishmash of everything, but this is the only place, I guess, where you can find the regular shimmers, the ones that are around $6. So for me, the best way to navigate this, if you want to look at the formulas, would be to go from price low to high. So I think you can see all of these ones up here and these three here, I would say are their regular shimmers. I don't have them all. I believe I have Dark Matter, Starlit, and Moon Lily. And if I'm not mistaken, Moon Lily is a little bit, why am I saying that weird? Moon Lily is a little bit shinier than Dark Matter and Starlit. So there's a little bit of a variation there, but overall I would say these are, maybe I have Galactic Mint, I don't know. These are, your really standard metallic, not ultra shiny, not really sparkly, just like a standard metallic formula. It's a nice formula, it's just not my favorite from them. Then we have the $7 shadow range, which is a little bit of a mishmash. I would say we have, look, I'm gonna butcher some of the names, okay? Caesium, rubidium, and palladium. These are ultra shiny metallics. I believe they do have some sparkle particle on them because they do have, they have a lot of shine to them. They are absolutely amazing. They look like liquid metal. They're beautiful. I would definitely recommend all of them. And then we have these two, Mocha Twilight and Demas. I feel like Demas or Demas, I have no idea. This is a little bit less shiny, but I would say still in the same family as Caesium, Rubidium, and Palladium, but a little bit less shiny. And Mocha Twilight, it's a formula that I feel like they don't have anything else like it. It has a lot of tiny sparkles onto it. I'm gonna put a photo of it. It's really, really, really pretty, but I feel like it is different from everything else. And then also on the $7 range, we have Lunar Lavender, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Lunar Lavender is ultra shiny, wet looking, sparkly. It is a similar formula, I would say, to Moonshine, which is at the $8 range. So this, I would say, it's definitely a different formula, ultra sparkly, and shiny. Purple Clouds, I would say, it does have a little bit of a shift, but overall it's like a shiny metallic, not ultra shiny either. I would say Purple Clouds goes in the same family as all of these guys up here. Phases, Cerise Waves, and Celestial are also more of like a smooth metallic, not ultra shiny either. So you can bundle all of these three, Purple Clouds and the ones up and these ones, I think all kind of in the same family. let me see. Okay, dark energy. Dark energy, I would say it's also, I believe they consider this one to be a duochrome, but I believe, but this is more of like a shiny metallic. Again, not super shiny, but it does have a shift. Let me see. Yeah, I already talked about moonshine. I want to go to the other tab now, which is the duochromes, because the shimmer tab is a mess, is a mishmash of everything. I think. Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. But then, okay, here we go. Terra borealis. Okay, let's see. I'm just worried that like some of this stuff is not gonna be here. Some things that I think are multichrome are duochrome. Okay, I think Martian is there. I think it's gonna be fine. Okay, I'm gonna do again the price low to high. Oh yeah. Okay, so these ones are already considered duochromes. These ones that, to me, are just regular shimmers. Okay, we talked about dark and so yeah. So as I said, all these ones up here, for me, are just regular shimmers. They are of like a shiny metallic, but not ultra shiny. Then we get into the ones that I would really consider duochromes. Terra borealis is a classic from them. It's ultra sparkly, not as sparkly as lunar lavender and moonshine, which we saw at the other tab, at the shimmer tab. So funny that they consider those to be shimmers, but some of these to be duochromes. Like, I would say those are so much more dimensional than series waves. They both have a shift to them, and they're ultra sparkly, but they are just in the shimmer category, I guess. So yeah, Terra borealis, it's beautiful, very very sparkly. Hot Spice Cider and Martian, I would say, are classics for them. They're both duochromes, but they're not as sparkly. They are shiny, quite shiny, but more smooth, I would say, not really sparkly. Interstellar, it's, I would say, the same kind of formula. Interstellar is like a shinier version of dark matter that we saw on the other tab. I would definitely say that, you know, if you like that kind of shade, just go with Interstellar instead of going with dark matter. And then here, from Snow Globe until Andromeda, we have what I would call their iridescent duochromes. And these are, I think, one of the best iridescent duochromes out there, you know, because they are on the lower end of the spectrum of prices, but they're beautiful. Some of these are more shifty than others. Some might be a little bit more sparkly than others, but they're all very, you know, overall quite sparkly and quite wet looking and quite dimensional. So Terra Moons, Snow Globe, Selene, and Charon, they are all very similar to each other. I would say Charon is the more neutral of them, while Snow Globe is the more green of them. But they are very very similar. You might not need them all. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Then we have Hydra. Hydra, I would say it's very similar to Terra Borealis in the formula. It's a tiny bit more like flaky, but not really flaky. It's just a little bit more textured, and I feel like Terra Borealis does look a little bit more wet on the eyes, and I think it's just the color of the main sparkle, because this one is mostly like the main sparkle is purple, and I feel like purple just doesn't shine as bright as, you know, blue or, you know, green. So yeah, that's the one. Then we have Starburst. It's one of their most beautiful ones. I feel like here we're getting into the really sparkly ones. It's super super sparkly, you know, put in the same family as Terra Borealis. Multiverse, also super sparkly. Multiverse and Wormhole, very similar. The only difference is that Wormhole has a little bit of a like gray black base, while Multiverse is sheer. So personally, I would prefer Multiverse to Wormhole. Then we have Star Sign, also super sparkly. Beyond Apollo, also super sparkly. Moon Mist, I'm not sure I have this one. Okay, I do. This one is also super sparkly. Neutron Star, I don't have this one, but I think you can see on this swatch here on the photo, that is the reason why I don't have this one. It just looks kind of lackluster to me. Now, Light Speed, amazing. This is one of those that, like, for me, like the Lunar Lavender, I am shocked it's at the lower price point, because this one is so shifty. It's so shifty. It goes from blue to purple, I believe, and it has a very sheer yellow base. Absolutely stunning. Celestial Petal, Axis, Halley's Comet, Rhea, and Serpents, all very, very sparkly and very wet looking. I do not have Aquarius Moon because, again, based on these swatches, it looks very thick. It doesn't look as sparkly as I wanted it to be, and I also don't use shades like this. I also don't have Lost in Space. And then the final ones we have here, it's Calypso and Rosette. I don't think I have Calypso just because I think it's similar to Star Sign, if I'm not mistaken. But I feel like this one would also be very sparkly. Rosette, I would say it's a teeny tiny bit less sparkly than these ones that we saw down here. These ones. But it's still really pretty, and also it's still considered to be sparkly. I just think it's a tiny bit less wet looking than those. Then we go into the Chameleons. Okay, let's go from price low to high. On the Chameleons, you're gonna see we have lots of different price points, and I think also lots of different formulas. I would say here, Solstice, UFO, Terrasphere, and Radiation are, I think they are also an older formula. They are quite smooth metallics, not ultra sparkly. They are more like vibrant, and I believe they all have like a shift. I'm not sure if Radiation has a shift, but I know for sure that UFO, Terrasphere, and Solstice have a shift, but they're like that very opaque, vibrant formula. Not my personal favorite, but definitely I feel like a little bit more unique because it's such a, they're all like very bright colors. Then I think the Moontide and Orion's Belt were in the same collection, but I find these to be much more sparkly and also much more dimensional. Moontide is very, very shifty, very sparkly. Orion's Belt, I feel like it might not be as sparkly or as shifty, but definitely, you know, in kind of the same family of the, you know, of Moontide. Then we have Ceres. Ceres is a very unique shadow. It's definitely more smooth, not super sparkly. It is quite shiny and it's quite subdued. Very interesting shade, but definitely not sparkly. Then we have Antares and Terrestrial. I think I can talk them at the same time. They are also similar formula, I would say, to Moontide and Orion's Belt. They have an opaque base, lots of sparkles. Same thing with Supernova, also quite sparkly. Counting Stars, it's more shiny, I would say, than sparkly. I think some people might consider this one to be an iridescent because it has a very sheer base, but it's very, very bright because of the color, but not necessarily sparkly. I do not have Jupiter's Inferno because it's a black-based one. Space Drifter, I have it. It's sparkly, but not ultra sparkly. And it does have quite of a dark base. It's one that personally, if I knew it was going to be like that, I wouldn't have picked up. Quasar is one of Terra Moons has so many greens, and this is one of the greens. Very pretty, very sparkly, very shiny. It's beautiful. And the same thing about Neptune's Diamond, also very sparkly, very vibrant to the color. Let me see. Then we have Reign of Terra, Helix Nebula. Okay, we have all of these. I would say Veil Nebula and Gamma Ray are probably the sparklier of these. These are more of a shine, like Reign of Terra, Helix Nebula, and Tidal Flare. They have more of a metallic shine to them. They have a lot of dimension. They work beautifully as one and done shades because they have a darker base, but not necessarily ultra sparkly. Veil Nebula is definitely more sparkly, and so is Gamma Ray. Midnight Winter, it's quite sparkly, but it's also quite dark, so it's one that doesn't fully work for me. Crimson Eclipse is one that I don't have a lot of experience with. It is shiny, not sparkly. I think Chasing Comets is also like shiny but not sparkly. I could be wrong. I'm not fully sure about that. I am including like photos of my swatches so that you can see better how the shades look like. La Lune and Shattered Stars are also quite shiny, not so sparkly, but again work great as one and done shades because of the dimension that they have. Let me see. I don't have this one. I do have Cosmic Noon. It's a more shiny metallic than sparkly formula. but quite an interesting shade. Carina Nebula, I would say, is in the same family formula of Helix Nebula, Reign of Terra, and Tidal Flare. It's more of a shiny metallic than a sparkly. Exoplanet, it's very dull looking. It's really interesting shade, but very dull. I would say it's very similar to La Lune, but the main sparkle is a little bit more, I think, red, and La Lune is a little bit more pink. I could be wrong, but again, I have them both swatched side by side, but it's very similar. It's just a lot less shiny looking. This one I don't have, but oh, my cat put the paw on the. This one I don't have, but it's on the way to me. This one is one that I also don't have, but I was shocked to see this one was $15 because based on swatches I've seen, it looks kind of lackluster. But anyway, I don't have any of these. I have bought them. I'm just waiting to get them, and I think. Oh, okay. Then here, pretty much from Space Baby until Ice Giant, we have their multichromes. Well, what I consider to be their iridescent multichromes. And the formula varies here a little bit. I would say Phoenix, it's super, super shiny, while Red Giant, it's a little more satin looking. But I believe all of these are more shiny than sparkly. I don't have them all. I have quite a few of them, but not all. But yeah, they're not sparkly. If you want a sparkly iridescent, I would recommend those on the duochrome category, you know, like X-ray, Andromeda, Meteorite, Snow Globe. Those are sparkly, while these ones are more of a smooth, shiny formula. And then the last ones here, I don't have any of these. Now we go to the pressed extreme multichromes. Did I do this right? Oh, I didn't mean to do low to high. Okay, Witch's Brew Nebula is quite sparkly but a little bit dark. I will put some swatches here. Not one of my favorites. Atomic Division I don't have. I do have it on my wish list. I don't have this one. I don't have a lot of these. Don't have these. These ones here from Alter Ego until Centauri. These are their classic, I would say, black base multichromes. The only one that I want, and actually it's on its way to me, it's Hyperion, because it does look like it has more of a gray base and it looks like quite a unique tone. Steven of Fortitude told me that it's his his favorite green from Terra Moons, and he did a comparison for me. So yeah, this is one that I feel like might be unique, but I'm not much of a black base multichrome person, so yeah, that is the only one that I am actually waiting for. But the other ones are supposed to be like that smooth black base multichrome that isn't really super sparkly. It's more of like a shiny metallic. Then here, pretty much from Venus to M51, I think we have the gray base multichromes. These are all very beautiful, very, very shiny. Not really sparkly, but very, very shiny. If you have M50, like, you don't need Big Bang and M51. They're very, very similar. I will put swatches of these. But yeah, one's just a little bit darker than the other. Cosmic Dances is one that I love. It's like a blue, but it's super, super neutral looking. So yeah, these are their gray base multichromes. Really pretty. Vela Supernova, it's, again, I feel like a similar formula to these. It's more shiny than sparkly. Galactic Blossom also, it's more shiny than sparkly, but it's such a unique shadow. Very, very, very pretty as a one and done, and like very subdued too. These two I don't have because they look so dull. I had absolute no interest on these. Solar Expansion, I believe I have. It's like a black base sparkly multichrome. Wonder Star, I don't think I have. I don't have these three. I do have Coalescence. This is one of the greens that I talked before, in the same family with like Quasar. They're all in the same like green family, and they're all really pretty. They have like slight differences between them. Then these I don't have. You know, the Cosmos is a classic. It's very, very sparkly, very shifty, very unique. Not unique, very special eyeshadow. No longer unique because I feel like all the brands have a version of it, but this is definitely one of the sparkliest versions of it. And Big Dipper, it's very similar to the Cosmos, it just has a darker green base, and I feel like mine at least is a little bit less sparkly than the Cosmos. Then I don't think I have, okay, I don't have any of these. Stellar Apotheosis, it's very similar to the Cosmos, but it does have a flakier texture. It doesn't bother me. When I first got it, I was a little bit scared, but then I used it on my eyes and I was able to smooth it out. People would say that it's a warmer version of the Cosmos, and I can kind of see it, but I don't know, it's very hard to describe. They are very similar and yet they're different, and I feel like on the eyes specifically they can be quite different. I don't have this one. Ganymede, very pretty. Also, I would say the same kind of flaky formula from Stellar Apotheosis. It is not the ultra flaky formula from Terra Moons, but a little bit flaky. This one I don't have, although I want it. I don't have any of these. Okay, the only one that I have here is Sublunar, which is the kind of the same shifts as Ganymede, but on a sheer base. But I mean, I'm not a person that does a lot of layering, so I'm very happy to have both of them. But I would say that they both have the same kind of slightly more flaky formula. And I believe Aries, Winter Sun, Pistol Star, and Proxima are the ultra flaky formula. I do have my eye on Pistol Star, but I don't know if I will ever do it because I know lots of people don't like this formula. But I think this is it. I think we are done. I hope this was helpful, and I will link everything that I said down below, and I will see you on my next one.